And that paragraph starts with the words impacts related to. You have that?
Yes.
All right. Let's go to the third line of that paragraph, to the sentence that starts with the words as ice builds. Tell me when you found that.
Okay.
This sentence reads, as ice builds up on the blades of an operating wind turbine, it can lead to vibration caused by the mass of the ice or the aerodynamic imbalances. You see that sentence?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'd like to direct your attention specifically to where it states in that sentence that ice can lead to vibration. And again, you wrote the sentence, right?
No, I didn't write the application.
Oh, I'm sorry, you reviewed this sentence.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know whether the buildup of ice on turbine blades always leads to vibration?
No.
You don't know?
No, I'm sorry. You could have ice accumulate on blades to a less enough extent that it does not lead to vibration.
And when a thaw occurs, that ice can break or slide off the turbine, right?
Yes.
Let's go back to the staff report, page 67. Condition 44. Now we're talking about noise, right? What's the meaning of the word cumulative as used in this condition 44?
Cumulative means the noise impacts from the Republic wind project, but also any adjacent wind projects that may be built before Republic is built.
All right. With respect to the third line of condition 44, what's meant by the term project area ambient nighttime average sound level, LEQ?
Well, that is the, I don't know how to describe this without using the words. It's the average sound level at night in the project area.
Is that a project area wide average?
Yes?
Earlier in your testimony, I believe you referred to NRO as an operating mode. Do you recall that?
I know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What is it?
NRO is a mode in which the turbines can be operated at a lower noise level.
Okay, it stands for noise reduction operation or something to that effect?
Yes.
Okay. And if this project is allowed to operate some of its turbines using NRO, how would the staff of the Power Siting Board know whether it's complying with any requirement to use NRO?
Well, one thing we could ask from the wind facility operator is a SCADA data that shows the NRO levels of the turbines that are required to use them.
What's SCADA data?
SCADA is an acronym, and I don't know the definition of the acronym. But SCADA is, it's like a software program that keeps track of the operation of the wind turbines. So it'll tell you how much power the wind turbines are producing, different operational, impacts of the wind turbines, that kind of thing.
Does every turbine produce SCADA data?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any requirement in the application or the conditions recommended by the staff report that Republic Wind preserve its SCADA data?
No condition that says that.
Let's go to Exhibit E1, or 1E of the application. You were just there a moment ago. And this time I would like to refer you to page 19 of the noise report that you will find in the second half of this document.
Which document is this, Mr. Franklin?
It's Exhibit 1E, the supplemental application, company Exhibit 1E. It's the company supplemental application of June 28, 2019.
I'm there.
Okay. All right, referring you to page 19 of that document, Table 2. This is the summary sound levels from the background sound monitoring done by the applicant, correct?
Yes.
And in order to come up with the project area ambient nighttime average sound level, the applicant averaged the LEQ readings for night for each of 7 monitoring locations, correct?
Yes.
And on table 2, that would be the 4th column from the right-hand side of the table, correct?
Yes.
So each, the applicant presented these 7 locations for the background monitoring in his application, right?
Yes.
Okay. And each one of these 7 locations, or the measurements, or let me start over. The measurements at each one of these 7 locations will give an equal weight in the average for determining the project area ambient nighttime average sound level, correct?
Yes.
Now, in light of that fact, why is it that in your supplemental testimony you proposed to average the measurements from the 3 monitoring stations that were used for the transmission line and to make them one data point for purposes of averaging the nighttime sound level, instead of treating them as 3 data points.
One, they're pretty close together. 2, they represent pretty similar soundscapes. So it was my opinion that one average location on the western edge of the project would have been appropriate to include in amongst the original 7 for a new average ambient level.
In front of you, you should find LR Exhibit 12, which is Exhibit F, Noise Impact Assessment.
Yes.
All right, you recognize this document as a copy of the noise impact assessment submitted by Republic Wind for the Republic transmission line case, correct?
Yes.
And you've reviewed this document before your testimony today?
Yes.
Go to page 1 of that document.
Okay.
All right, now the first paragraph of page 1 of that document has in its last sentence, in other words, the last sentence of paragraph 1 states that the proposed transmission line will span the approximately 4.8 mile distance between the collector and POI substation, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any reason to disagree with that statement?
No.
And now if you go to page 3, actually go to page 7, that'll show it better.
Okay.
Now page 7, figure 2 shows the monitor locations, correct?
Yes.
And the western monitor was located close to the west end of the proposed transmission line.
Yes.
And the east monitor was located close to the east end of the transmission line.
Yes.
And then the middle monitor was located roughly in the middle between the two ends of the transmission line, correct?
Yes.
So the west monitor is approximately 2.4 miles from the middle monitor, based on the length of the proposed transmission line as stated on page 1, correct?
Approximately, yes.
And there is approximately 2.4 miles between the middle monitor and the east monitor for the same reason, correct?
Yes.
Now, keep your finger on page 7 of LR Exhibit 12. And let's go back to Company Exhibit 1E, which is the supplemental application of June 28, 2019.
Okay.
I would like you to take a look at page 6 of that report.
Okay.
Now, do you see on page 6 of that report that it has a scale?
Yes.
All right. Based on that scale, can you tell me the approximate distance between the wooded area monitor shown on figure 2 and the south boundary monitor shown on figure 2?
It's like about 2 miles.
Okay. And based on your review of that page from Exhibit 1E and page 7 of LR Exhibit 12, can you tell me the approximate distance between the wooded area monitor location and the east monitor location?
Looks like it's about 2 miles.
Okay. Now I'd like to direct your attention to LR Exhibit 12, page 6. All right, and there's one paragraph on this page, and I'd like to read you the second sentence on that page, which states, well, let's just start with the first sentence. The first and second sentences state, background sound level monitoring was performed at 3 locations near the proposed transmission line routes. Each site was chosen to characterize a soundscape along the transmission line route, allowing identification of both overall sound levels and the sound sources that contribute to local soundscapes. Do you see that?
Yes.
And you don't have any reason to disagree with those 2 sentences, do you?
No.
Now, let's, staying on LR Exhibit 12, go to page 7,
Okay.
and at the bottom of the page, we have a paragraph in a discussion about the west monitor, correct?
Yes.
And if you look at that paragraph, starting with the sentence that starts on the 4th line with the words County Road 15, you see that sentence?
Yes.
It says County Road 15 was located approximately 130 meters, parens 427 feet, parens to the east, correct?
Yes,
And it's referring to the monitoring location being approximately 427 feet to the east or to the west of County Road 15, correct?
yes,
Now go to page 9. On the first paragraph under the heading Middle Monitor, you see a sentence that says, the intersection between TR 169 and TR 164 is approximately 610 meters, parens 2,000 feet, parens to the north, correct?
yes,
TR stands for Township Road, correct?
looks like town road. The first sentence has town road
Mm-hmm.
and parentheses.
Yeah. Shouldn't that be Township Road?
I don't know.
Okay. At any rate, it's
Maybe,
okay.
I don't know how they label it roads.
All right. At any rate, the sentence that I just quoted discusses two roads, correct?
Yes,
And according to this sentence, the middle monitor is approximately 610 meters or 2,000 feet to the north of the intersection of those two roads.
yes,
Now to go to page 11. Here you have some discussion of the location of the east monitor, correct?
yes,
Okay. Starting in the third line, I'd like to direct your attention to the sentence that starts with the words, the monitor was located approximately 40 meters, 131 feet west of TR 175 and 167 meters, 548 feet from the closest residence to the southeast. You see that?
yes,
Okay. And so that's saying to you that the monitor, yeah, that's okay, it says. And the next sentence says, the intersection of TR 148 and TR 175 was located approximately 187 meters, parens 614 feet, in parens to the southeast, correct?
yes,
So that is saying that the east monitor was located approximately 614 feet from that intersection, correct?
yes,
And you have no reason to disagree with the statements made there, do you?
no,
Okay. Going back to page 9, with respect to the sentence that I read you there, you have no reason to disagree with the information in that sentence?
Your Honor, one outstanding objection with respect to Mr. Bellamy has not prepared the noise impact assessment for the transmission line case. To the extent that statements say what they say within the document, I mean, you already have admitted this as an exhibit, but to the extent that this witness, he hasn't prepared it and he can't verify details from the document, an outstanding objection.
Yeah, the fact that he hasn't analyzed noise for transmission station versus analyzing noise for turbines makes no difference, at least not with respect to the questions I'm asking here.
Well, maybe to clarify, to the extent that Mr. Van Clay restates a sentence and says, well, if that's what that sentence means, correct, he can't say what the sentence means from a document that he did not prepare.
Sustain the objection. The document does speak for itself. It is already been admitted. If you have a specific question with respect to the document and the consensus contained within, you certainly ask the witness, but it doesn't seem to be of any value for him to confirm that the document says what it says, since it's already been admitted as an exhibit. You can ask him a generic question, whether there's anything in his report that he doesn't agree with. Rather than going line by line.
Okay, keep your finger on LR Exhibit 12, page 7. And now I would like you to find Exhibit E to the amended application of December 12, 2018, which should be in one of the binders to the right of you. And this is from the supplemental application dated June 28, 2019. Oh, wait a minute, I think I goofed up here. Just a second. Yeah, I did goof up. Let me start all over again. Keeping your finger on page 7 of LR Exhibit 12, then find Exhibit E in the binders to your right of you, of the amended application of December 26, 2018, which is the transportation study.
What exhibit is it to the application?
E, the transportation study.
Thank you.
And once you get to that exhibit, go to Figure 2.
Okay, I'm there.
All right.
Do you know what page Figure 2 is on?
It would be after all of the narrative of that exhibit. And there's a bunch of figures after the narrative. It should be a yellow figure that looks like this.
I see Figure up and I haven't found it.
If you find Figure 1, you got to just go one more page and find Figure 2. They look pretty similar, I think. Okay, and so are you on Figure 2, which is labeled Potential Routes Project Area?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, now, do you see in the project area, which by the way is shown by the blue lines, right?
Yes.
Okay. The blue lines being the outline of the project area, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you see that somewhere about, well, it looks like about a third of the way from the left side of the exhibit, look for 2 red 17s. And tell me when you find them.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what's the map?
It's Figure 2, Potential Routes Project Area.
And then I'm looking for
This
the red
one,
17.
You think 8?
No, I'm in 8. Can you just give me a second?
And just so that the record is clear, this particular map or diagram is as of what date?
Well, it was included in the amended application of December 26, 2018.
But doesn't the document page say at the bottom right, November 2018?
Yes, it does.
Okay, I'm there.
Okay, good. All right. Now, do you recognize the outline of the project area as being the current outline of the project area?
As far as I can tell, but there's a lot of indentations around the project area, so I can't verify that this map is completely accurate with other maps.
Well, is there another map that you're aware of in the application that you can compare this to determine whether it's the current map of the project area?
I mean, there's a lot of maps within the application. I don't know which one. I mean, without looking at them all, I'm just saying if there's an error on this map, I'm not aware of it.
Okay. Sorry.
Basically, if I understand correctly, then, Mr. Bellamy, what you're saying is that as of November 2018, you're not aware of any other changes that have taken place within the project area? Assuming that this was the accurate map as of November 2018.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so going back to the question that was on the table, please find the two red 17s on figure 2. Tell me when you see them.
I see them.
Okay. And with respect to, you see a red, broken red circle to the left of the 17 that is furthest to the west.
Yes, labeled
Okay.
10.
No, there's a circle labeled 17 on the west, which is the westernmost of the two 17 circles.
Okay, I
Okay.
see the westernmost.
Yeah. And I'm referring you to the circle itself rather than the number 17.
Okay.
Can you tell me how close to that circle the eastern, or the east monitor in the transmission noise report is located?
It looks pretty close. I don't know for sure.
Okay. Well, earlier in your responses to Mr. Perrin's questions, you indicated that there were 4 turbines located not far from the east monitor. Do you recall that discussion?
Yes.
Okay. And do you see the locations of those 4 turbines on figure 2?
Yes.